So I'm probably going to offend some of the atheists in my camp. I'm also probably going to offend some Christians. I'm probably going to offend some of the people that I call my family and my tribe, which I'm guilty of this too. Um, we've all become what we have hated. Um, it's not. I'm not trying to do this on a religious basis. Um, it's something that I struggle with because I do consider people closer, and those people I consider my tribe. Um, but I have to say it. It's destroying us. It's destroying us in a lot of different ways. Um, and people will push back at me on this. Um, because in one sense, we want a global society. And then in one sense, we don't. The problem is having one person ahead of everybody else. One group or one person leading us all without our own sovereignty. We give up that power to one person. And I'm not for that. I believe that we're all individuals and that we can all make a decision together without having someone always down our neck. Um, and this by me watching and learning my idea. Um, it's pretty hard. I've noticed this on a lot of other YouTubers that I've listened to. Um, a lot of us, I'm gonna plug some people right now, like Puddin and Ian from uh, he's a car builder, and he said something the other day. He's very self conscious of people videotaping him. He can do it when nobody is watching, and that's how I feel too. Because it feels like somebody's breathing down your neck. But we have um, we crave to belong and we crave to be accepted, feeling safe and finding our people, which is what a tribe is. But it's getting to the point to where we're all connected somewhere and somehow. I've done genealogy for years. I see it a lot of times. I will com- and I'm not plugging Ancestry 23andMe and because that just gives you a close proximity of your family. It doesn't give you your really distant cousins. And that's how I found a lot of my family, a lot of my distant family is I use it. I'm not going to plug them here. And it's a lot of getting in the weeds and wading in some ankle deep water. Um, but a lot of the people that I've found a family story and I find a name and they do genealogy too as deep as I have. And they're like, oh, we do. And we're like, well, we share this chromosome. And so we're cousins. And those have those people that I have in my family like that. will tell you I'm closer to them, and because, well, frankly, it's just the two of the, or this, excuse me, the three that we have in our family now, me, my brother, and my cousin. Um, and that's normal. It's normal for us to try to find our people. And every tribe thinks that their way is the only truth. That goes for Christians, that goes for Muslims, that goes for Jews, that goes from white, black, Native American. It goes on. And I want to, try my best to not put myself in that situation because, but it's increasingly that even within people that I associate with, we want to break into groups, and this per this person is more important than this. And guys, look, I'm guilty of this too. I'm guilty of this too. It's very difficult not to do that. And when you do that and you get called out of that and you're called a hypocrite, which I'm calling myself that too. And I try my best not to. Um, we have certain ailments and we find people that have similar, I mean, I have probably a couple autoimmune disorders, and when I've discovered that, I've kind of went on Facebook and trying to find a group, and you know it's even hard when you have that in common. You want somebody to share that with you, but you go to a church. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. You go to church and you're sitting there in the pews, and you're the first. This first time there, so you start, you know, getting to know people, and you find your little sect within your own group church, and y'all do everything together. You plan Christmas, Thanksgiving meals, stuff like that, birthday parties, things like that. And we need to stop that. We need to stop this mess of left versus right, Christian versus atheist. And guys, look, whatever you believe, you're open, and I'm open to that. I don't have to believe it, but if you believe it, it's yours. And I'm really getting tired of atheists calling Christians stupid. On YouTube, you can block me for that if you want to. But and we need to stop, and Christians need to stop trying to. And I understand it's in your holy book that go and preach to the world, and I understand that, but you have no control over what somebody believes in their heart, and there's reason why they believe that, and so you need to understand. And when they tell you why they believe the way they do, and that they're not going to believe the way you do because of certain things, you know, I know a lot of you Christians will say, well, it's to build up my crowns in heaven, or we have this this idea of, especially Christians, and they will, the, I can't remember the Bible where it's at, but it says, by your works you are judged, and all it's in there. I don't, but anyway, I think it's in Galatians or whatever. And I've heard this in songs and many people behind the pulpit, and gosh, I'm so rusty. Um, but it's been said in a bunch of songs that when you get to heaven and there's a book of life and then there's a book of whatever, and you get cast into hell or you go to heaven, and then I want to say it's part of the great white throne judgment or whatever, and you go before the final God, the final time, and he asks you, you know, why should, and then supposedly all these people that you could save, and you didn't say a word to them, all their blood is on your hands. Or I get many crowns because I've witnessed and soul wind X amount of people. And, a lot of people are just grateful I got to heaven. You hear people talk about people accepting Jesus on their deathbed, and but look, you only got one life here, and we do this with our phone brands and uh, certain video games and certain sports teams, and we do it, um and it's ridiculous. I mean, yes, I will cheer for the opposite team just because. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. I love. I mean, I my that's my color, green and yellow. Uh, I'm attracted to those colors. A lot of things you see me wear are green and yellow, or that I've made. I incorporate it just because that's who I am. There's some people that will wear purple and blue, or they have that color scheme. Uh, that's just the way we are, and I kind of think that the internet's made us that way too. And guys, I'm in the scene too. I mean, I can't lie. I like when somebody comes over and subscribes to my channel, or gives me a thumbs up, or comments, or you know, even if it's a negative comment, I take it as a badge of honor, because then I try to fix it if it's something that I want to fix. If it's not, I'm not going to. So, you know, Stacy's into her furry stuff. Caden is into gaming and coding and things like that. Um, and I think that's where they need to shine their talents. I really do. I believe that. I think that's where your talents are lied. But you also need to understand it's not all about that too. It's about the person. It's about their life. It's about why they have struggled the way they have through life. Um, it's just that way. And, you know, I've got some questions and I've got these wrote down. So forgive me if I sound like a robot because I don't normally do my shows like this. So it says, when was the last time you changed your mind? If the answer is never, that's the problem. And that's true for all of us. Uh, Guys, I changed my mind on a lot of things. I've changed my mind on the way I look at religion and spirituality. Um, and I still hold to some things in Christianity. Like, I want to believe there's somebody more, someone other than me in charge. You know what I'm saying? I don't, I've been a manager at several places I've worked. I've had people look up to me as their boss, even if I wasn't. Because I don't like all that on me. But there's people that have brought me in their life. And guys, look, if any of y'all know me from my Native American stuff, a lot of them will call me Chief or Minko because of my family. Uh, I'm not gonna get into it here, but it's a it's a native monarchy is what it is where my family tie is. Um, but also I understand that they look up to me to lead them. And yes, by uh my one of my uncle's appointees, I'm a peace chief. He's the tribal chief and I'm the peace chief. Peace chief is to make peace. Um and I want to say this here, and it's gonna offend some of my native people. And they'll say, no, they believed in, they broke each other up into different tribes. And they said Tecumseh tried to unite all the tribes. It never happened. It's never going to either. The world's never going to join under one. And honestly, I don't think God's that way either. Because even somebody with authority has somebody they look up to. And they'll consider them their leader or whatever. I'm not trying to be a leader, guys. I just state the facts and go on with it. And do I take some responsibility in people's lives? Yes. And if people ask me my opinion, I will give it to them. But I'm not going to make them do anything. You guys heard the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That's true. That's true within all of us. And you need to be able to disagree with your best friend and you're still best friends with them, right? You're still best friends with them even though you disagree. And there's only certain people that can do certain things to you and get away with it, right? And I've heard that repeated over and over again. Well, they can do this because they're my friend. And guys, a lot of that's dangerous too. You've ever heard the saying, keep your enemies close, but keep your friends closer? Because your enemies are closer to you. Your friends are your greatest enemy sometimes. Was it? I'm probably getting this mixed up, but wasn't at Julius Caesar that his best friend stabbed him in the back? That's not just metaphor, that's true. A lot of times your best friend will stab you in the back anytime they get a chance. That's true on so many levels. But we need to come together. We we do better when we work together. A lot of people, you know, united we stand, broken we fall, or something like that. And that's not just true for Americans, and that's not just true for other countries. That's true for all living creatures. The camera just got dark. What in the world? Probably the flame or something. But can somebody criticize you without you getting mad? I know I get mad, especially if somebody don't know me about that. But when we fire back with something where, we become what we hate. I've seen this in the atheist community. I've been the last year I've been kind of watching. I've stepped out of my comfort zone and I've started to see cracks within that community that I really truly understand, but I've started to see the cracks within it also. And a lot of atheists are preaching against certain things, but they've become the pastor of the atheist community, and they've built themselves up as that. And that's we and I feel it too. And I can't I've kind of stopped watching a lot of it, and because it's just so it's vile. And there's some truly awful things that go on, not just within the Christian realm, um, just in the atheist stuff. I've started seeing it in there, and some of the vile things. And a lot of them, you have Christian apologists, you have atheist ones too, and they will get up on a debate stage with an atheist versus Christian, and some of the shit they say. And the thing of it is we can't, a lot of the atheist and Christian and we can't physically prove this stuff. And there's stuff that Christians believe, that atheists believe. There's stuff that I believe, and the only reason I believe is because I want to believe it, and it makes me happy to believe it. A lot of y'all will know that I'm into gnomes and fairy gardens, and I want to believe in that magic. I want to go to Comic Cons and with my daughters and my kids and my grandkids, and because it's cool. It's to get out of this whole, and that is a tribe in itself, yes, but it's to get out of this world with a little bit of joy. I'm gonna say this, and when I say it, it's probably gonna go wrong, but an atheist will tear apart somebody. They don't know them. They don't know the struggles. And a Christian will do the same damn thing. You don't know how they've lived, what they've been through, why they turned a certain thing. There's a lot of people that get tattoos just because they like the pain of it. I got my first tattoo, and I can say that I've had it for years now, but am I addicted to them? Oh yeah, I would have more. If I had more money, yeah, I'd have more tattoos on me. I love my piercings too. Y'all will tell I've got one on my tongue and I've got two in each ear. Do I want more? Yeah. I want this done. I don't know if I want the whole nose thing. I don't know. But, and there's people that look at me like I'm crazy when I'm walking around. And, I've got my my certain clothes that I wear all the time. And they look at me like I'm crazy and I don't really care. Um, but that's where it gets dangerous. Is where you can't change your mind for the sake of becoming someone that you don't think you are. We need to stop becoming what we hate. We hate the religious ideas. We hate we hate that. We hate that we can change our mind. And changing your mind is not a bad thing. It gives you inner peace to change your mind. You don't have to make a change that day or that second. And here's the funny thing is people can put just a little bit of seasoning on something and then you ask what that seasoning was and they're like, "Oh, it's this seasoning." So you go out and buy a bottle of it and you pour a little bit more and you're like, "Oh, that's good." Then you pour a little, that's still good. You pour a little bit more on and it's too much. And you're like, "Ew, I don't like this seasoning now." So you're like, "I put the seasoning up, you love it." And then you add too much to it. And then you get rid of it because you've added too much seasoning into what you have and you're saying, "Oh, that seasoning is bad." Or when you liked it, where it was just a little bit of that flavor. You can take that to its extreme. I like my drinks cold. But if they get too cold, they're frozen, and when you try to drink them, they freeze your mouth. And it hurts, especially when you get older. Too much of a good thing. That's what that's called. And we need to stop becoming that. We really do. I'm going to bring this up because I feel like it's a necessity. Back when Trump first ran, everybody was talking about, oh, we're going to elect him because he's for he's for this and he's for that. But look where he's turned all this upside down because he does not have the control factor. He is a person that wants all the glory and everything, just like I done this and I done that and I done this and I done that. But look what he's done now. All those things that sounded good at first and were supposedly great in 2016, they're not so great now, are they? Look what they've gotten us into. And guys, I'm telling you, it's too much of a good thing. You can have over abundance of something. And that's where it gets dangerous. You can have too much. So here's a challenge. And it's not to one group or the other. And I don't want any attacking. And I don't want can who you are survive? Can you survive the questioning? This goes for any part of who you are and what you do. Can you survive to get that acceptance? And y'all can do in the comments in the live chat. Do what you got to do there. I don't even have live chat up because I got to the point to where it was just getting me off subject. So it's up, and I'll probably read through it. I may or may not, because some of you guys come into that live. That's annoying. I'm sorry, but it's annoying. And you put something there that's not even vaguely involved in the whole thing. So let that be a challenge. So I'm going to give you some challenges right now. And this is a challenge to the Christians. And set my first was, can Christianity survive questions? Can your Christianity, any question that comes along, somebody asks you, can it survive? Think about it. Can it survive? And can it survive in you? Can you survive that those questions? And if they're hard to answer, and if you got to go back and study on your own, and you find that that's true or false, and I'm not saying go and I mean, because you're going to go to your tribe, and you're going to say this question popped up. Can this survive? And it could be any question you have on your belief system. Can it survive? Or does it have to be changed for you to agree with it? And guys, look, there is tons of books, there's tons of opinions, there's tons of everything on any subject. And you can find answers, and you can find not so good answers. You can find answers with your grandparents. Sorry. But is the answer yours? Are you comfortable with that? Okay. So do that for me. Here's my challenge to my atheist friends. And this will surprise what I'm trying to say. This goes for my atheist family and what I'm doing too. Can you do something without mocking, dismissiveness, your own echo chambers? And can you tell every religion, and can you, I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this. Treating everyone religious as if they're stupid. You have to stop. Atheists, you have to stop when it comes to this. You need to stop treating everybody and everyone like they're stupid because they believe in certain things. Where I've seen a lot of atheists believe some stupid things. And it does not stop in because you're in a certain tribe. As I said before, we need to stop this tribal stuff. And yes, it's hard. It's hard to like somebody that is different. But you want to know something that's kind of weird? A lot of the people that you hate the most, a lot of them are just like you. That's the truth. There's people that I have met, and for some reason, I don't like them. And someone will say, they're just like you, right? I'm like, I've had people come to me, and I've expressed that I don't like certain things or certain people. And I've had one of my friends or my family members and say, you're just like them. And a lot of the time it's true. You dislike the things that are more like you than you like. We like people that's opposite of us. That's hard pill to swallow right there. Because you know that they're a lot like you. And that's the reason that you don't like them. It's a crazy idea, isn't it? The more extent, oh, I can't even talk. The more somebody is like you, the more you dislike them. And we put ourselves above everybody else. And then we have all these other people below you that look up to you. You're up here, you're up here. And then you have your friends that are down here, no, he's so great. Guys, I will tell you one thing. Don't act like that no, I don't like the fact that people play, oh, they love you. I understand. I love me too. But I don't like the fact of being up here. I like being down here. I like being behind the scenes. You know, I, I can't tell you how many times that um I've just, that's Mike. Uh, I mean, I've been put into leadership roles, and yeah, it's nice. It's nice, but it's a lot of stress too. A lot of stress. So here's what I've learned. One, nobody owns the truth. We're all wrong about some things. Curiosity is more important than certain questions. Questions matter. Evidence matters. Changing your mind is not weakness. It's growth. It's growth. None of us know the truth. None of us do. This one kind of hits. We're all wrong in some things. That hits me hard on a lot of things because I find that's something I get mad about the most is something that I got wrong. I get mad. I have. I got so mad because I found something out that it was I believed my whole life, and I found out that that is wrong. I've had the wrong information, and I believe this is what happened with me as Christianity. I started questioning, and I found out it was wrong. That it was not right. I've taken some of the questions that I've had about Christianity, and I've looked, and that question pops up, and the whole situation was wrong to me. I've spent my whole life, and a lot of people will say that people that's left religion, and one of the first steps is anger, because your whole life you believed one way, and you and your group have believed that in one way, and when you find out it's wrong, you get mad because you've wasted all this time and effort on something. Yeah. I know that that gets you. That'll get you every time. Remember, your curiosity is more important than certainty. Your curiosity, your curiosity, you're curious as a cat. They have 9 lives because they are curious about everything. I'm going to repeat this because it's kind of in the same wheelhouse. A lot of millionaires and billionaires, and they are that way because they put their foot into so many things, and they'll tell you, I they've done this and this and this doesn't work and this. I think a lot of us want to be like that, but we don't know how. Like I said, a little bit of seasoning is fine. You pour the whole bottle, it tastes nasty. Your questions matter. The evidence matters. And remember, changing your mind is not weakness. Not. It's it's not. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to. I've got. I don't know what I've got. I put notes here for some reason. I don't know how to say some of that stuff. So guys, I'm sorry. I've got notes, and some of it's just like stuff that I've put. Um, I've got this wrote down. A tribe can give you a home. It should never become a prison. Keep your community, keep your traditions, keep your beliefs, but never hand someone else your curiosity because a tribe is not your truth or it's not the truth. It's not the truth, period. We have to really stop being so tribal. We need to become, as a lot of people say, one. We do. But it's hard. It's very hard to become one with so many different individuals. I've heard this explained, and I've kind of explained it in kind of a weird way. And I, like I said, I've seen this said, and it kind of makes sense, but then it don't because then I've heard atheists rip this apart, and I've heard Christians rip it apart. I've heard other people rip it apart. There's many of us, many souls but we all are one. I've heard people talk about near death experiences, and there's there's thousands of different things where people say, I saw it all, that we're all one spirit, which I tend to believe. I think that everybody has their own ideas and thoughts, but it goes into a collective mind. We're all the same energy. We're all different rays of the same light, is what I say. And I will give credit where credit due. Is there's some really screwed up rays that do some really stupid and screwed up things to the human experience. There is some truly bad people, but they are in their own tribe too. And just because I don't understand doesn't mean that they're wrong in a lot of things. There are some people that have done some horrendous things, horrendous things, but they have some truth in a lot of some of the stuff they say. And the reason they're horrendous is because they don't have that mentality of too much. They've gotten too much of that seasoning. And so, and a lot of people, it goes all in or all out. That's why you hear people say the far left and the far right, because it's not comfortable to be in the middle. Because there's a lot more people, a lot less people on the far left, a lot less people on the far right. Most of us are in the middle. The Bible says you can't have one leg on the fence and have the other one on the other side. I don't know, that may not be biblical. I've heard it so many different ways. Or you can't be lukewarm. You got to be hot or you got to be cold. Like I said earlier, sometimes too much cold, you can't drink it. Too hot, you can't drink it. You want it right in the middle. No, no, a little bit. No. I'll let you up here in a little bit, but not right now. Sorry, cats. But let's try not to be so tribal, can we? Anyway, guys, I will see y'all on the next one. Y'all have a good Friday. I'm planning on a stream Sunday. It's already posted. So if you got any questions, concerns, comments, drop them. Do the likes, do the shares, do all that kind of mess.